Good Wednesday evening, halfway through the week. Let's see who we've got. We'll do our roll call like always. Oh, there's Tom's Firewood, Logger Jason, Sherry Miller, Ted Miller, Josh and Janice Leach. It is warm here in Maine, Josh and Janice. We were 40 degrees inland, 47 earlier today. Felt like spring for sure. Yeah, tomorrow it's supposed to be very cold, so it's gonna get cold again. It won't last long. Got Brianna Gorman. Hey Brianna, how's it going? Jim, Iffy Kid's here. Mike from Lake Ontario Firewood. Robert Cox. Craig's Cord to Coles. Oh, Brianna's having problems with her foot. Sorry to hear that, Brianna. There's not enough firewood, Mr. Robert. Bracken from Frontier Firewood. Got Tex RC. Dennis Rexford. Speedy. Daniel Atkins, the SOL department, has entered the building, and he has a high of 60s in the Pacific Northwest, so he's nice and warm out there. Scott McCoyne, good evening from Tennessee, he says. There's Kevin Violet. There's Roman. Roman's here. Haven't seen Roman in a while. Northwest PA Firewood made it today. Larry Terrell. And there's Cold Springs Farms. There's Ryan. Ryan's got a friend visiting from out of state. They've been doing some logging in that billy goat territory down there, so they're on watching. Jason from Yadkin Valley Outdoors. John Salmonson. Derek from Derek's Stuff. And there's Brandon Fisher all the way from Alaska. Adam Ross is here. Adam's one of the gentlemen that helped move us when we moved into the new house. So, and there's David Parker. Brianna says when you get her age, things start to fall apart. Things fall apart at any age. It's just, that's one of those deals. You've got to try to take care of ourselves as best we can, and it's much easier said than done. Jason says he's been using the 4409 today. He's busting up the big blocks. Speedy, I did see that other kiln is for sale. I sent an email and reached out. He has a couple others interested in it as well, so we'll see. I do have the one in Mass that's a really good deal. He's waiting on a couple of parts. Once he gets those parts and gets it back up and going, we're going to take a road trip. So there's Scott and Ann, Wise Choice Firewood. Brandon Taylor, BT Saws. How you doing, Brandon? 34 in Tennessee, 19 at Sunrise. The weather's been wild. It's been wild. But I got the saw from Bracken, Frontier Firewood, the United by Sawdust saw. We unboxed it the other day, put some fuel in it. Didn't have to adjust it much. It was pretty good. It was pretty well right where it needed to be. And we ran it against another decked imported saw. They're both 70cc class saws. One's 73cc and the other one's 72.9, and they ran neck and neck. Could not get more even, so I'd say a job well done. The gentleman that's ported that 372 has ported lots and lots and lots of 372s, so he got pretty good at it. So I would say Tim Hill from Summit Work Saws did a fantastic job on that. So it's running well. Grandpa will get to try that. I was thinking it was going to be tomorrow, but Dave was busy while I was working on a project today. Dave made the rest of the trusses for the firewood racks and got everything ready to go, got the loader moved over there. The firewood racks are going to their final destination tomorrow. So we'll get all of those put in place and get them moved over there. And maybe by this weekend, we'll find out what they hold. I know what they hold. It's going to be about 3 cords. We've actually condensed them. Those racks sucked up a pile of lumber, and I mean a pile of lumber. If I had to pay for those out of pocket, it would probably be the most expensive firewood racks anybody would want to build. But considering that we took the trees down on a tree service job, we were able to use the sawmill and put some time in there. Even though they're expensive, they're not too bad. Not too bad. And Scott McCoyne just brought up a very good... excuse me, very good point. Heath from Hardworking Man has been in the hospital since Sunday. He had pulmonary embolisms. They removed some blood clots from his lungs. And then Rachel had a video today. They also removed some blood clots from his leg as well, up in his thigh. So keep Heath and Rachel and their family in your prayers. Luckily, he caught it in time. That could have been very bad, very bad. So. Northwest PA Firewood says it's rained for the last 12 hours there. Yes, BGW Enterprises, you are absolutely right. I did misspeak. The 372 is 71 cc's. You are correct. Rob outside in the 515, how you doing? Trying to get caught up with the chat here. You guys are getting ahead of me a little bit. I usually do pretty good keeping up. So we ran the the two ported saws. It will run away from the 462. I know that, but we're going to try it anyway. We're going to put a 24-inch bar and chain on the 462, and we'll run it against it and see how that goes. But that Echo saw is really nice. It was not as loud as I thought. Gramp is going to probably run it Friday. I was thinking tomorrow, but like I said, Dave's been chomping at the bit while I was off doing some stuff today. And he's got the trusses made, and he wants to get them put in place. He's got the loader all moved. So tomorrow morning, I'll take and go and put everything from the old racks into the dump trailer. They'll go to the burn pile, and then we'll get the new racks set in place, and I'll make sure that we get some video of that, and you guys can see it. They're going to hold just a hair over 3 full cords. So we're going to pick up a extra cord of wood, and then we'll go from there. Jason, ADHD is the struggle for sure. It really is. Northwest PA, the 462 is not ported yet. It will be going out to get ported at some point, but it is not ported yet. I will check. You hang on just a second, Jason. We'll grab that saw and we'll show everybody, for those that don't know about the United by Sawdust saw. John O'Donnell is Jack in Oakfield. What do you do when you need time away from firewood besides family? I really enjoy fishing. I used to do a lot of hunting when I was younger, but I like fishing. And my wife actually booked my son Richard and I a deep sea fishing trip. We're going to Florida for a 4 or 5 day vacation. And my youngest son and I, Richard, we are going to go do some deep sea fishing in Florida. So it's going to be really cool. Can't wait. Richard loves to fish. I hope he catches a big shark or something like that. That would be really awesome. Brandon, I don't know if I'm going to port the 620 or not. I had thought about it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I think Northwest PA, I think you're right. If we ported the 462, I think it's going to be faster than the Echo and the Husky both. It's a little bigger saw, so it should be a little faster. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. James Lacey, how you doing? Dang, yes, we go live every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, or we attempt to. Sometimes life gets in the way and it doesn't work, but I enjoy these lives. So every Wednesday and Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we try to go live. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes my wife comes on. Sometimes Rich pops in. Never know what's going to happen, but most of the time we just chat firewood and what's going on and, you know, what we've got for the rest of the week. I'm hoping that we have a good time, Daniel. We went striper fishing a couple of years ago, a couple summers ago, and Richard had a really good time with that, so that worked out good. We got Carl Lewis just showed up. We've got Dan's House of Smoking Outdoors just showed up. I won't fire up the 7310 in the house. My wife is sitting right behind me, so I won't do that. Adam Ross says, dump truck or dump trailer? What does the job best? Dump trailer is the cheapest to run. It's not the most convenient. A dump truck is much more convenient, easier to get around with, but cost of ownership is quite a bit higher. So if money's not an issue, dump truck all day long. If you're trying to be as efficient as possible and keep costs down, dump trailer. That's my 2 cents worth. Logger Jason says king mackerel are a blast to catch. I'm not sure what we're fishing for. My wife booked the trip, so it's going to be a surprise to both of us. Tell Richard he needs to catch me a swordfish. If Richard catches a swordfish, that would be cool. I really hope Richard catches something really big and we can get a good video and all that stuff. So Saturday, dang, Saturday. We'll be going live with you guys Saturday. Hardwire cable. My wife has a laptop. We're going to try that connection tomorrow. I got to look and see what I've got to have to hardwire in. But this Saturday, we're going to be at the Sawyer's Roundtable with a whole bunch of people. And we're going to talk sawmilling. We're going to talk firewood. We're going to talk small business. I'll put a link in a description on Facebook and on the YouTube page for anybody that's available Saturday. We'll go ahead and see what's going on and chat with some new people. We're doing quite a bit more sawing than I have anticipated, and it's been really cool to see how that's worked. Just a little bit of sawing in the videos we did. It sold us some lumber already. I put a post out today. We've got a couple of contractors that had reached out and talked about wanting to potentially buy rough sawn lumber for shells and frames of houses and garages that they're building. So if we can do that, I won't have to plow snow next winter. I've had to plow snow every winter for at least the last 10 to 12 years, and I'm really looking forward to not having to do that other than my own driveway if possible. So that'll be really cool if we can make that happen. Yep, 70s or 80s dump trucks are efficient, capable, not the most fuel efficient. So if you're real rural, that makes it rough too. Mrs. American Country 716, and there's Blake Fishing 207. How you doing, Blake? Good to see you, buddy. RJ, the fishing videos ought to be cool. I'm kind of excited. My wife told me we were going, and I think that'll be a really cool thing to do. Brandon Hode shut off Despicable Me to come watch. That's a good one. That's always good for a giggle. So David Parker said his dad caught a 44-pound tarpon off the back of an aircraft carrier when he was in the Navy. I bet that was cool. There you go. And Yadkin Valley Outdoors, Jason and I, we've been talking. He has plans to build an 8-way wedge for the 28C, and I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. I hope not, Brandon. He says I'll be plowing either way. I hope the only plowing I'm doing is my driveway. That's for sure. Blake, my night is going good, brother. My night is going good. Southern Adirondack Outdoors is an awesome sawing channel, part of the Roundtable. Yes, they are, Derek. So Craig, the Kilted Sawyer, he's on there. You've got Two Brothers Outdoors. You've got Southern Adirondack Outdoors. And there's a few other guys. I'm not familiar with all the channels. I've tried to watch some of the videos, and I watched the last roundtable they did with the rep from Wood Miser. That was really, really cool. It's good to be able to get different perspectives on things. Josh and Janice Leach said, don't forget to hit that like button. Double tap your screens, back out of the live chat, hit like, and come back in. It helps to push this a little further. Blake, we do have a very nice log splitter. The Allwood log splitter has been a very instrumental part in us being able to have the free time that we've had to do the other things in our business. So it's very nice to have good equipment like that. But let me go grab the United by Sawdust saw for any of you that don't have or have not seen that saw. So Jeopardy music, and I will be right back. Huzzah. So 7310 done by Summit Work Saws. It's got a 2-foot Samara bar on it, Oregon chain. Really nice saw, runs really smooth. Jason wanted to know how many drive lengths. Hang on. I'm looking. $84 drive lengths. That's what I thought it was, 84. So, well, 24 is 84 unless you're doing the 620 Echo. 620 20-inch bar Echo is 70 drive lengths, not 72. So, but I'll tell you, that saw is really, really nice. It's smooth. It sounds like it should be so much faster when we ran it next to the 372. Dave and I were both shocked when they were right on time-wise, so. Yeah, we're not going to fire it up. We're not going to fire it up. BT saws, yes. Splitter is fixed. So we are back in business with that. Everybody's cheering me to start the saw inside, honey. They don't want me to live to see tomorrow.
Yeah, I would rather you not.
Graham's World of Diesel. I am doing well. Glad to have you along. We go live every Wednesday and Sunday. Glad you like the videos. I have not put my name on it yet, Yadkin. I have to do that before I send it away, Jason. But we're going to let Gramp run it Friday. He'll run his fair share of it. We'll get his take on it, and then we'll box it up, and it gets sent to the next location. So we'll put our video together. Dave gave his honest opinion of it after running his saw and all of that stuff. We really thought it was faster until we did the video. Because even Dave said he thought it feels faster. They're right there, though. $5 super chat's not going to get me to fire it up. If my wife wasn't sitting here, I'd fire it up. We've done it before. They've seen it happen. Robert Daigle, absolutely. Frontier Firewood wants to know who's going to Hoosier. So Hoosier and Bear Paw Firewood weekend are both the same weekends. It's May 16th and 17th, I believe it is, if I'm 100% correct. I could be wrong. But it's going to be nice to see Hoosier continue, because that was going to be an event that was going to go away, but it's nice to see that they're going to make that happen still. $50 fired inside. Not yet.
Make it 500.
Wife says 500 and we can fire it up inside. Blake wants to know, what's my favorite brand of chainsaw? A sharp one, Blake. All the chainsaws are pretty good. What it boils down to is dealer support, what you're comfortable with, and how your sharpening is. A sharp chainsaw is a happy chainsaw. There are some saws that are a little bit better than others, but if I had to pick a saw right now for what I do for work and nothing different, just value-wise alone, I would still go with the Echo 620. The Echo 620 is probably the best bang for the buck as far as, value in a chainsaw. It's not the fastest, it's not the highest performance, but for $675, you get a 60cc Pro Saw. If you put it in your own personal name, you get a 5-year warranty. They're really dependable. We've run them a pile. They have not let us down one bit. So, Somebody's got 250 already. They're looking for the other 250 to pitch it in.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's loud. If we started in the house, I bet the dog's going to bark. That's for sure.
You won't be able to hear him over the saw. Man.
I might have to sleep beside the Allwood if I started in the house. That's for sure. Russ, let the viewers know that if Bracken hits 1,500 subscribers, he'll give the saw away. So, this big thing right here, if we hit 1,500 subscribers on Frontier Firewood, this decked imported 7310 is going to be raffled off or given away, one of the two, however Bracken does it. So there you go. You want to go over to Frontier Firewood, subscribe, like, follow along. You might have a chance. Sherry and Ted will be at Bear Paw. There you go. That'll be cool. Husky, not all Huskies are outboard clutches, but the new 564 is, and the 562 was, and I was not a fan of the outboard clutches either. Oh, Robert Daigle just threw $20 in to help start the chainsaw, so there's $275.
Oh, man.
$270, sorry.
Oh, man.
They're all going, yes, Bracken, I will have Gramp sign that for sure. And Logger Jason just put Frontier Firewood's link in the chat. If you're not following along with Frontier Firewood yet, go ahead, give them a like and a subscribe. And Bracken and Buddy, they do an excellent job over there. And Buddy's got the coolest truck on YouTube as far as I'm concerned. No one in the house has asthma, but they may need earplugs, Mrs. American Country 716. And Northwest Firewood says he was joking about the 250, and I figured as much, but we're not going to fire it up in the house. It is loud. Denny Hart, good evening. Good to see you. Sell off raffle tickets. Just run it by the wood stove with the door open. The exhaust fumes will follow the draft. You guys are right full of good ideas. This is awesome. Got Matt Firewood in the field. How you doing? So I was impressed with the compression that saw had. When you grab it, you want to make sure you're ready to pull. It has plenty of compression, that's for sure. But it runs smooth. It runs out really smooth. Very minimal adjustments. Brandon said he'd start it for free. You guys already know, if nobody was home, I would start it for free too. So it's just I'm looking at my life sitting ahead of me here, and I don't know if it's all there is to it or not. Graham's World of Diesel saying, let's get more than 500 so we can start it. You guys are bad influences. Blake, I plow residentially right now. I used to plow commercially when I worked at another place. We did like Targets and Lowe's and malls and business parking lots all over the Bangor area. Did that for a few years. Now it's just residential driveways. Residential driveways is... it's easier for me. I don't have employees. I don't have to do a whole lot of double checking. I've made my run so that I make one big loop, and by the time I come back, I'm done. I can go be somewhere else for the rest of the day and not have to worry about it too much. Daniel Atkins, the owner of the SOL department, says that he's sorry, Mrs. Willey, for everyone being bad influences.
No, well, I'm used to it.
She said she's used to it. Make sure the brake's on for when the dog tries to rip it in half. Yeah, the dog would probably run. I don't know if he's that brave. He might bark at it or whatever, but I don't think he's that brave. I was impressed to see the 7310 keep up with the 372 too, considering that they were both decked and ported. And the guy that decked and ported the 372, he's built a lot of saws. So I was really surprised to see that keep up as close as, and we both thought the 7310 was faster until I went back and timed the video. They're right there. I mean, it could be just the difference in clicking the timer, how close they are as far as time goes. But the Echo feels smoother. We both thought the Echo just feels smoother. I will do that for sure, Adam. I will let you know. Denny Hart says, can't say enough good things about your fire starters. Love those things. Thanks again. You're absolutely welcome. The fire starters are pretty awesome. They've we sell plenty of them around. I used to do more of them. Right now we've got some other stuff going on that's consuming some extra time, not just the sawmilling. So it's one of those deals where it's nice to have that there. Logger Jason says, thinking about porting a 372, is it worth it for the weight versus the speed? Much faster. You guys wait until you see the 7310 stock versus the 7310 decked and ported, and that'll kind of show you the difference between the 372s. I would dare say it's probably a 30 to 35% gain, somewhere in there, from stock versus decked and ported. So it's going to be pretty cool. The paint color for the wood racks is going to come this spring after they've had a chance to dry a little bit and be out in the weather. The lumber is fresh sawn and it's frozen. So we're going to be painting the boards on the outsides are going to be barn red. All of the uprights and the trim pieces will be black. And we're going to stain them red and black. Should look like a woodshed. Should look like a small barn or a woodshed, and that's what we're gonna do with the colors. So, Forest Passage, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Brandon Taylor, you're very welcome. The Gramp stick is something that gets controversy on the on the Facebook. Facebook does not understand why you measure with a stick. Use the perfect marker. Use a Mingo marker. Use this. Use that. You can keep the stick in your hand. You don't have to set it down. You can just keep sawing as you go. It's what we've found to be the easiest. I don't say it's the best, and I don't say it's the way that you should do things, but it's the way that I've done it as long as I've ever cut firewood and as long as I've ever seen Gramp cut firewood. So that's the way we do it. I mean, that's all there is to it. And anybody that tries it usually likes it. Once they try a stick, they like it. Allen Family Firewood, he used to have a stick that he cut all the time. That's how he does it.
You're gonna patent it, aren't
It's
you?
just, my wife says we should patent it, and I am going to look at patenting it so that we can have a patent on the Gramp stick. I don't know how you patent it, but we're going to patent it, I guess. And do that and go from there. Blake, we deliver about 700 cord of wood a year between what we do and what we buy from people like Robert and John over in Corinth. So we deliver a fair amount of wood. We're what I call a small to medium-sized firewood business in Maine. There are plenty of people that are bigger than we are, but we just try to do what we can do. So it's it's one of those deals where help someone if you can, and a little bit every day goes a long way. We don't try to do all 700 cord at once, but if you just do a little bit every day, it's not bad at all. Ted says the Gramp stick is all he uses, and Jason says he hates the Mingo marker. Gramp was not a fan of painting the logs to figure out where to cut it. The Mingo marker made one log. That was it. Never even made a video with it. He said that was not what we needed.
What's a Mingo marker?
A Mingo marker is a wheel, and you run it along a log, and it's got a finger, so every 16 inches it makes a little paint dot to show you where to cut. But Gramp didn't like the paint dots on the wood, and neither did I. Adam Ross, I am looking for saw logs, so I'll call you there for sure. Robert Daigle, I'm not opposed to anything. I'm open to anything. The Allwood has been a fantastic machine for us. If there was something better or something that would be more efficient or anything like that, definitely be open to anything. Yeah, I don't think you can patent a stick either, Jason. I think it's more or less the logo and all the stuff that's on the stick to
Gramp stick.
the Gramp stick to keep somebody from trying to copy it. Dan's House of Smoking Outdoors likes the Mingo marker. How often do we bring wood to people? So a lot of our customers are yearly home heating customers, but we have commercial customers that are restaurants. So we have 5 restaurants right now, and a 6th one in the spring. We deliver to each of the restaurants about every 2 weeks. So we go and we deliver to the restaurants, we stack the wood for them. Residential customers, all of the residential customers, we just dump and go. They order anytime throughout the year and do all of that stuff, and we just deliver as they call and order. Starting from here on out, the rest of the winter, we'll get busier. Once we get busier, we'll go ahead and, we'll probably do 1.5 to 3 cords a day, somewhere in there, as far as delivering goes. And we just try to keep up with orders so we don't get too far behind. Summertime is when we're the busiest. There's many weeks in the summertime that it was, 20, 25 cords a week. So it's not uncommon for us to be that busy, but that's a pile of wood to do by hand. I could not do that by myself without Gramp and Kevin. I could not run my business without Gramp and Kevin. So Frontier Firewood says he doesn't like paint on his bundles. And Broken Old Swede, he says he's been using a Gramp stick for 40 years. He's got a 2x4 chunk of Gramp stick. He's got it figured out. Paint in cold weather doesn't work. You're absolutely right. Lone Wolf Outdoors, getting a 460 Rancher. Any thoughts? 460 Rancher is a great saw. I call that a truck saw. It's big enough that you can use it to cut firewood with, but it's a nice saw to be able to just throw in the truck. They're really dependable. They always run. There's not much to go wrong with them. Can't go wrong with a Rancher. Copyright is what we need on the Gramp stick, not a patent.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, David Parker. Appreciate that. Down East Tree, Firewood family. How you doing, Jonathan? Good to see you. Red and black paint. That's Wolfridge colors. We had some custom colored ones. Once Grant picked up the pink one, that was kind of what we used for a long time. So. How have my chainsaws held up over the years? Graham's got all kinds of questions. I like these questions. When we first started, when I was younger, probably in middle school, high school, somewhere in that area, and I really started working with Gramp. Gramp was running Dolmar saws. Dolmar sold out to Makita. When Dolmar sold out to Makita, we switched from Dolmar to John Sered. When John Sered, or Jan Sered, however you want to pronounce it, when Jan Sered went out of business, we switched to Husky, which is basically a orange John Sered saw. Not much difference between them. Most of the parts interchange back and forth between the two. And we ran John Sered up until 2 years ago. The 5 Series Husqvarna saws, we did not have good luck with. The 562s when they first came out. The 372s have always been good, but Gramp's getting older. He's 79 years old now, but he was 78 when we switched and started running Echo. We bought a 620 and a 7310 Echo. And since we bought those saws, I would say he picks the 620 up 2 to 1 over all of the other saws that are out there. Now we've got the little ported Echo that Derek's stuff made for us. He runs the little ported 4910 all the time. I can hear that, and I can hear the difference. It's really light. It handles easy. Gramp likes the lightweight. It's easier on him. So, whatever we can do to keep it easier on him, and that's why we do Firewood the way that we do it. For the volume that we're selling, we should be using a processor, and I know that. I'm 100% in agreement with that, but until Gramp decides to hang the saws up, we do it Gramp's way. And it really doesn't matter who wants to say something one way different or the other. We do Firewood Gramp's way until Gramp doesn't want to do it anymore. So that's what we do. But overall, I would say the most reliable saws we've had through the years, 2165s or the 372. Those are probably the most dependable long term. We haven't had the Echoes long enough. The 372 Gramp's cutting with right now has got to be 15 years old. It's been rebuilt twice, new top ends and cylinders just worn out. But yeah. Yep, Jason, you're absolutely right. Good gas and mix oil, they'll go a long time, that's for sure. Um, and BGW Enterprises also brought up a good point. Only low pro air filters on the John Shred. You couldn't get the high top air filters. So, Blake, my business is Willey's Firewood. Willey is my last name, so my name is Russ Willey. So on Facebook, I'm under Russ Willey. I didn't go under the business name on Facebook, but the uh, the business is Willey's Firewood. Willey is my last name, so that's where the Willey and Willey's Firewood came from. Yeah, 2065 is an awesome saw. They're a really nice saw. No, Adam, you're 100% right. You're not going to change Gramp's mind. Gramp has his mind made up most of the time ahead of time. I will say the steel 462 changed his mind because before that he wouldn't touch a steel. He's run that a fair amount and he likes that saw. So somebody asked chain on the 4910. We're running the 325 chain. So here's the thing, guys. A 3H chain is not going to cut any faster for you. It's going to stay sharp just a little bit longer because it's a bigger tooth. So a 325 chain will cut faster than a 3H chain as long as it's properly sharpened because you're taking a smaller bite. Therefore, there's less drag on the chain. You can cut faster. So 325 is a faster cutting chain. Have a good night, Matt. Appreciate you stopping by, buddy. So I run all of our saws 40 to 1 with Echo Red Armor. 40 to 1 is what I run all our saws. We only use Echo Red Armor oil. If you run a saw with Echo Red Armor oil and you tear it apart, it's going to be crystal clean inside. You run the Steel HP oil or the Husky oil or any of that stuff, when you tear them apart, they're not pretty inside. They're carboned up. They don't run as clean. The 620 is really, really nice. It's fuel efficient. It does a good job, but that Echo Red Armor oil makes all the difference in all our saws. We've not blown a saw up since we switched to the Echo Red Armor. Not one. Robert Cox says, remember, everybody, hit the like button. Graham wants to know, how long have I been doing this for? I've been burning wood my whole life. I've been selling wood for about probably 15, 16 years. We started the LLC, will be 11 years ago in March. So I went full time 6 or 7 years ago. My wife wanted to start her own business. I went back to work for somebody else for a couple of years till I could get private health insurance, and then went back out on my own. At the end of the day, Firewood, I truly enjoy, and I really like Firewood. I enjoy it. It's just, for me, it's what I really like. There are many other things that I do in the business with sawmilling, equipment sales, the YouTube stuff, all of that. I enjoy all of that stuff as well, but at the end of the day, put me in a firewood yard, give me a nice sharp saw, give me a splitter that runs well, and I'm happy. I've done firewood for a long time. I know the ins and outs. I can usually tell rough figure by looking at a pile what's there. I know how long it's going to take me to do what I need to do. It's just, I enjoy firewood. Ooh, Uncle V is burning wood today. There you go. Good to hear that. Is Amsoil mix blue stuff, is that decent oil? Amsoil is good oil. So if I couldn't get Echo Red Armor, I would run Amsoil or Klotz. I will not run Amsoil at 101 like they tell you that they could, that's for sure. Howard Whitcomb, yes, I will be at the show in Vermont in May, 100%. Joe Main, how you doing, buddy? Those new blades are working great. We're chewing through the 10-degree ones right now, getting those used up. I'm going to call you and order some more blades tomorrow, too. We got to get some more coming. We're doing a lot more sawing now. Speedy wants to know, are you running the stock air filter on the 620? Yes, we run the stock air filter, and I'm not worried about the stock air filter because Gramp cleans the saws every day after he's done using them. If you take care of your saws, it really doesn't matter the air filter design too much. Should be okay. BGW Enterprises, the sprocket size on each chain size you go up is about half a tooth bigger. So there you go. That makes a difference as well. Yadkin Valley says he converted to Red Armor oil when he got his 620. And Iffy Kid's been running Sabre at 50 to 1 for years. So, Blake, the biggest tree I've ever taken down was probably, it would have to be a white pine. I've taken a bunch of white pine down that were right around 4 foot or maybe a little bigger on the stump. That's kind of the biggest trees that we get around here. All of those went to the sawmill for lumber. Now they would go to my sawmill for lumber. But a 48-inch tree is a little bigger than I can handle. So yeah, the big pines, those are fun. When they hit the ground shakes and you know you cut something. That's when the work starts. Once they hit the ground's when the work starts. Dropping them's the easy part. It's getting them out after. You guys are full of good questions tonight. I like the questions. Yeah, it's mild, so I got the stove going, but it's not terribly warm in here. I kept a small fire. Yeah, lengthwise, Jason, I'd say probably 100 to 125, somewhere in there. It's definitely they're tall. They get tall for sure. Brandon says Echo Red Armor or Sabre, and as far as he's concerned, 40 to 1. Yeah, 40 to 1 is that's where I stay. I don't change too much. The Steel HP Ultra Oil, if you talk to a saw builder, they're going to tell you they don't like it. If you talk to most saw builders, they're going to tell you to either run Amsoil, Echo Red Armor, Klotz, or Moto Milk. Those are the 4 oils that you're going to hear bouncing around with the saw builders. But yeah. Kilted Sawyer, how you doing? Good to see you, Craig. Northwest PA Firewood. Lucas oil is okay, but I don't know. I feel like Lucas quality has gone down a little bit. So we'll see. If I could only pick one chainsaw, what would it be? If I could only take one chainsaw and I've got to use it for everything, it's going to be a 372. Non-X torque 372, an original OEM 372. If I got to have just one chainsaw, that's what I'm taking. For where I am here in Maine, that's plenty of saw for everything. And it's still light enough that I can use it for a limbing saw and do all of that. They last really well. They're dependable. That would be my go-to for sure. Big trees beat up yarding equipment. They for sure do. They for sure do. How much mixed gas do you guys go through in a week? So we go through about 7 to 10 gallons if Gramp cuts every day. It all depends on how many days he cuts. If he's cutting more than just the morning session, we'll go closer to the 10 side. If he's just cutting in the mornings, 5 to 7, somewhere in there. That's what we're using a week anyway right now. And, you know, we're only in the firewood yard most of the time. Frontier Firewood, I'll keep the sawmill on this channel. Even though the videos don't do that great, I don't want to start a second channel. So we're doing the sawmill videos right on Willey's Firewood. The sawmill has sentimental value to me. That was my buddy Todd's sawmill. He committed suicide a few years ago, and that's something that was his. So I really enjoy the sawmill being here and doing that from time to time. It's a good break in pace from the firewood. but it's also a good reminder of him too. So I keep everything right on the same channel, and we're just going to run it that way. Man, you guys got
You didn't answer my question.
all kinds of questions. What's your question, darling?
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue. Bright blue, like a Ford Victory Racing or a Yamaha blue. I was a Yamaha guy through and through, so I like the Yamaha blue. If you need a 3120 with a 60-inch bar, that tree is a massive tree, and I'd like to see a picture of that when it's done. That sounds like a good time right there. That's a big saw. Wise choice. I think one of the big things is being consistent too. I think that plays a good choice in it. If you're going to run an oil, be consistent with it. Make sure your mix is right. Don't half-ass it, for lack of better terms. These saws are expensive. They're just like anything else. The better you take care of them, the better they'll take care of you. I just know from what I've seen torn down on other channels and from talking to other saw builders in my area and things like that, it's the really good quality oils that make all the difference in how those saws stay running, especially when they're decked imported and stuff like that. So I say if you got something that's working for you, don't change it up. Let's see. Saw builder told me he runs K2 at 32-1. This Echo is 32-1. And Yadkin says he does 7 to 10 gallons of saw mix a week, so he's right on line with us. Dang says he's run AMSOIL 100-1 for 20 years. Dad ran 100-1 for 40 years. Love the 100-1, never going back. Man, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. They say you can do it, and I'm sure you can, but it makes me nervous, especially on a decked imported saw. That's for sure. The Kilted Sawyer sawmill can make money. I make more money sawmilling per hour, way more money per hour sawmilling than I do making firewood. But again, firewood's what makes me happy. You got to have something that you really enjoy. Firewood makes me happy. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy sawmilling too, but firewood's where it's at for me. Kenny ran 12 gallons of gas in 8 days cutting cottonwood. If you're out chopping and you're out really working, you can definitely burn through some gas, Jason, that's for sure. The Baker mill that was at Bunyan, I did see that running for just a couple of split seconds. That was a really nice mill. There was some really cool features on there. So, Jason, Yamalube, we ran in every type of snow sled that we had. When people started blowing snow sleds up and dirt bikes and things like that up here when I was a kid and we were racing and doing all that stuff, everybody switched to Yamalube. Everybody stopped blowing up. So that goes to show you that a good quality two-stroke oil makes all the difference in the world. Daniel Atkins says your question was wrong. The question was supposed to be, what is his favorite color? What's your favorite color, Daniel Atkins?
Oh, sorry, Daniel Atkins.
Yeah, some of those old retro red and white Yamaha editions, those are pretty sweet. I still drool over some of that stuff, even though we don't do a whole lot of that fast stuff anymore. I still enjoy watching it. Adam Ross wants to know, ethanol or non-ethanol? I'll run ethanol fuel as long as it's high octane. Our fuel doesn't sit around, so I don't worry about the ethanol so much. And that was what our saw mechanic that we used told us too. So 93 octane is where we run. Never had an issue. $16-1 on a Maytag hit and miss engine. There you go. Daniel goes through 2.5 gallons of gas in a month in the spring and summer. Iffy Kid says non-ethanol. Northwest PA says he wants another bike, getting a YZ250. I had Yamaha Raptors and Banshees and Warriors and Blasters. I had all that stuff. I don't have them anymore. I'm a little too brave for them, so. Ah, see, and dang, he's the other way around. He 100% agrees, but he's the opposite. The sawmill makes him happy, and he sells firewood. So they do go together. They go together quite well. Oh, I see, Daniel. You're a complicated man, my friend. Brandon can't buy corn-free gas in Alaska, even if he wanted to. Prices in my area, we are running right around $3.79 a gallon for high octane right now. So just shy of $4. BT, if you're running non-ethanol 40 to 1, you're going to be just fine there. Yadkin says corn free is just under $4 a gallon. So our non-ethanol fuel up here is only 89 octane. So I get more octane running the Supreme with the ethanol in it than I do going the other way. So Iffy Kid says his KTM recommends a refresh at 100 hours at 370 hours running Sabre on it. There you go. Digger wants to know, what do you think about seafoam and saws? Seafoam can be okay for an additive if you're going to let your saws sit for a long time. I personally, myself, if I was going to put seafoam in them and run them like that, I would dump the gas out when you get ready, and I would put fresh fuel in. That small amount of fuel in there is, you know, it's a small price to pay to throw that out and put fresh fuel just to make sure. Those small engines aren't very forgiving. Oh, Alaska is a corn-free state. Oh, there you go. Diesel equipment, I have a small tractor, 26 horse TYM, and I have a Timberjack 225D skidder with a 353 Detroit in it, the old Screamin' Jimmy. That's my diesel equipment that I have right now. The sawmill makes way more per hour, but firewood is a way easier market. Both always sell well. That way you maximize your log value. Yeah, I think the log and lumber market can be changed with a little bit of work on my end. I've not really pushed into that market, but I'm seeing that there's room for it. So we're gonna push the sawmill stuff. I mean, I'm pushing the sawmill stuff because it's gonna get me out of plowing. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. See you later, RJ. Appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Yadkin says he runs seafoam in his all the time, so that's fine. Diesel in our area is right around $4 a gallon, Blake. Yeah, we can do a cold start on the Timberjack at some point. I've actually got to go over there and move some pine logs back to the sawmill and stuff like that. So we'll have to move it out of the way to get the tractor in there. So we can certainly do that. I've got about a pulp truckload worth of logs that we've got to bring back to the sawmill. Those have been sitting for a couple of years, so they should have some good wormy pine worm boards in there for the folks that come up from out of state. They like those. They've got character. But the Timberjack always starts good. Usually does not need but just a very small sniff of the old start you, and she's ready to run. Hey, Tim, good to see you stopping by, buddy. I've not found a loader yet. I've been using Dave's, bouncing back and forth around. I think I may put the small tractor up for sale. And do something different. We'll see. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get everything done and put into one place and how to do it. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Hydraulic sawmill is definitely something that I want if I'm going to continue to saw and I have to work by myself. Oh, she's still here, Ted. She's still here. Don't you worry. Uh, but yeah, so I think a hydraulic sawmill is something I'd really like to look at. I had a gentleman send me some information the other day on a Hudson fully hydraulic mill. I checked that out. I've looked at the Cook saw. I've looked at the Baker saw. I've looked at Woodmiser. I've looked at Timber King. I've looked at all kinds of different other mills, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Josh and Janice say, correct us if we're wrong, but didn't you have an old tractor? Yes, I have an old tractor that I've still got to get that was Todd's as well. I have an International 504 gas job tractor with a loader. And I've got to get a trailer, a deck over trailer, because it won't fit on a regular equipment trailer, so that I can get that home. And I've got a gentleman on the other side of town that had said he would do a tune-up on it and get it running for me and get everything going. And then we'll have that. So that tractor is probably not one that I will sell because it was Todd's. So we'll keep that. Don't have a grapple yet, Craig, but we will have a grapple at some point. That's for sure. He says, come to Utah this weekend. I don't think this weekend's going to work, but we definitely can do something later on once we get back from Florida, maybe. That's just in a couple of weeks, so. Yeah, Jason, I'll get the tractor. It's an International 504 gas job. Nice tractor, got a loader on it and a factory loader. He bought it at an auction. It needs a water pump on it right now. I've got the water pump for it and all of that. So I have a 1978 Timberjack 225D with a 353 Detroit and a Hercules winch on it. I like the Frostbite grapples because of the 3 fingers. I think the 3 fingers for grabbing a log is better control than using like a brush style grapple. I think the best thing would be like a telehandler with a grapple for the 3rd function, because then you can boom out and you can lift lumber and stack lumber if you were going to stack, because vertical space in the yard is free. I think a small telehandler. I've been looking more and more. It has the same lift capacity as the loader, with the 4-wheel steer and the crab walk and stuff like that. You can get around the yard pretty good. So it's, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yep. Jason says they're great, so. And Craig says he loves his. So a grapple is something nice right now to put a grapple on my little tractor. It's $1,200 for the 3rd function kit, plus the hoses. I only paid $7,500 for the tractor. And would it be useful? Sure. Would I use it a whole lot, or would it benefit me any more than having just the forks? Maybe. I know it would help cutting firewood logs because I could grab them and hold them positively and Grant could run down them. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's just, gotta wait and see. Night, Scott and Ann. Appreciate you guys stopping by. There's so many things, and the more you change your business and the more you look at it, the more you think, man, I could probably use this, or that would be easier, or I like this better. And everybody's personal preference is different. All I'll say is that if you see me running something and I spent my money on it, or even if it's something that I'm running on the channel, if you see it on the channel, it's something I would spend my money on if it's not mine. I don't want anybody to spend any of their money on something that is going to be no good. And before you ever bought anything, if you buy it from me, I'm going to walk you through every step of everything. And we're going to make sure that whatever they have and whatever you're doing, we've got it figured out, because I don't ever want somebody to buy a machine and think, man, this was not what I wanted. So I try to be as thorough as possible. Yeah, the ground's solid here. There's no issue with the ground out back. It's all gravel. We had a pile of ice in the wood yard. The ice is pretty well gone. Now I've kind of got a pond. My river is 2 rivers now. So that's, we'll show you guys that when we go out to the wood yard probably Friday morning. I don't know. We're going to need to do some ditching and reroute some water, because a river runs through it, and I've got to get that water out so that the yard stays dry. I've got one more load of logs coming. Once that load of logs shows up, that's it for firewood for a little bit. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Summit Hydraulics builds kits. I will have to call and see if they can do something with my TYM then. Ooh, Kilted Sawyer is gonna start turning 4x8s into mini cabins. You gonna do Airbnbs, or is this for a customer, Craig? 2 rivers run through it now, Adam. It forked, and when it forked, now I've got 2 rivers that run across my road going into my yard. So instead of 1 big bump, I got 2 big bumps. And then the trailer hits, and you got 4 big bumps. Ah, so Craig's doing both. He's going to Airbnb and sell them for customers. So there you go.
Is he local?
He is in Utah. He's the one that wants me to go out and play with sawmills with him.
So he could build us a podcast studio.
Summit Hydraulics has a nice website too. All right. Appreciate that, guys. I did not know about Summit Hydraulics. This is why. Help someone if you can. I appreciate you guys. It makes a big difference. So one thing you may see coming up in the future is my wife and I are going to be starting a podcast. And my wife wants to have a podcast. And I'm thinking about doing a podcast of my own, but it's going to be just a little different than the podcast we did before. So stay tuned for that. She wants a podcast studio. She got ahead of herself and bought lamps for her podcast studio already. I'll show them to you sometime. Maybe I'll put them in a video.
One of a kind.
They are definitely one of a kind. I'll give her that. They are one of a kind for sure. Brandon Fisher says he'll subscribe. So she and I want to do a podcast together. What were we going to call it?
Blue collar, white coat.
Blue collar, white coat, because I do blue collar work. I came from corporate, I guess you could call it, with a big business before when I ran the commercial bakery. She does the healthcare stuff, so she's the white coat, blue collar, white coat. The way I look at business is way different than the way she looks at business, but it's because they're 2 different types of businesses.
And we're both successful.
We've both done well with our businesses, but at the same point in time, there's times and places where if the 2 businesses can cross over and you can take something from each other, you can get a whole lot further ahead. I'm of the mindset, try to do it yourself all the time if possible. I've been burned too many times telling people what I'm going to do or showing people what I do, and then all of a sudden they go right out and they start doing it on their own, and I'm competing with my own stuff that I showed somebody. So
That's happened to me.
And she's had it happen to her now too. It's the same in both places. You know, that's one of those deals. Nobody has to know every move that you're doing. Just wait, let them watch and see. That's the whole thing. As much as it's nice to tell everything that's going on, nobody needs to know everything that's going on. Wait and let them see what happened, and then you're all set. Because sometimes just that little slip of, hey, I'm going to go do this, and then all of a sudden Joe's doing this down the street and Bob's doing that over across the road. Why do I need to bother doing it now? There's too many times where in business, especially nowadays, you gotta keep your mouth shut and be quiet if possible, because there's too many people looking for a quick buck. There's money out there to fund it if they need it. So if you've got an idea and you know it's going to be something that can be successful, throw the key. Keep your mouth shut. It's worth it. Trust me. But yeah, so we're gonna do some podcasts, and she wants to do a podcast about her wellness stuff on her own. And I want to do a podcast from a small business owner's perspective and put some of my firewood and sawmilling and equipment sales and things like that into it. More of the kind of mental mindset, the mental minute stuff that I do on Facebook in the mornings, some of that stuff, because mindset is really, really big. It has a big part to do it, that's for sure. Yep, Neighborly Homestead. It's 100% correct. I had a gentleman with a machine shop, and I think I told you about him. He used to fix cylinders for a Caterpillar dealer, and they finally sent a service tech in one day with a cylinder that was bent. The guy came and watched what the guy was doing in the machine shop to straighten the cylinders. Next thing you know, there's no more cylinders coming into this machine shop. That gentleman lost a couple $100,000 of business a year because they sent somebody in to watch what he was doing to bring it back and copy it. After that, nobody was allowed in the shop. I was fortunate. He used to let me go in the shop. I went to college with his son, and you know, it was really cool to see. He was old school mentality like Grant. No computers, no fancy machines. He just knew what it needed to be, and he did it. So it was really, really nice. Hey, have a good one, guys. Appreciate you. The United by Sawdust thing's awesome, Bracken. That's a great thing, and I think if we can keep something like this going with others in the future, I think it'll be a pretty cool thing to kind of see this stuff go around, see everybody use it, give somebody a chance to use something they might not necessarily use on a regular basis anyway. You know, somebody like myself or Jason at Yadkin Valley that have businesses, and we've got a bunch of saws. A saw is a saw. So, hey, tell your dad that the Strobe King or that stuff's awesome. I'm gonna try to get some videos. We got a bunch of Strobe Kings up here, so I'll make sure I send you some of those down so that you guys can use them. So I'll send them to them in a message on TikTok. So Headlight Property Maintenance on TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, Blake 207's Fishing's dad. He owns Headlight Property Maintenance, and he's taken into consideration all the people that run around town with their plow lights on all the time, even when they're not plowing. And he calls them Strobe Kings. He's got gear and merchandise made for it. It's pretty funny. He responds and claps back to some of the comments. It's just one of those things that's a rule. So, yep, Strobe King rules. Yep. So, the Evo traveling around would be a great idea, Jason. You bring it up here. I got 40 or 50 cord you can run through. All right, have a good night. See you, Brandon. But I think I'm going to call it too. Dave and I, we're going to try to get the roadside racks put together tomorrow. I'll put a video together, show you the rest of that getting finished up. And once we get that all finished up, we'll show you what they look like. I'm not building them as big as I started, that's for sure. But we're gonna make sure that there's a healthy charge of wood in there. We'll be back Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I will send Strobe King videos to him for sure. We will get that taken care of. So we'll see you guys all on Sunday night. Remember, a little bit every day goes a long way. Help someone if you can. And who knows what we're going to be up to next. But I know I got something to put together. I'll show you guys in a video.